welcome to the Chatbox Live, everybody. It's Friday afternoon. We are here at TV8 in the studio, and we are super excited to have a very special guest. As you know, Jennifer Saito, my sidekick here for the Chatbox Live, and today we're winging it. We have Tim McMahon, the Chicken Man. Now, there's a reason why we decided to bring you onto the Chatbox. We notice that no matter what's going on in our community, whether it is based on trying to help people with certain situations or mental health or loss of lives or just trying to get words across or even storming the council meetings, we have Tim the Chicken Man here because whatever is going on in our community, you always seem to stand up for us. You stand up for everybody, you stand up for the entire community, and you're always risking yourself getting thrown out of places or getting ticketed or fined or all kinds of stuff. But no matter what, you never skip a beat, you never let anything get in your way, and you're constantly out there and about, depending on the weather. It doesn't matter. You're out there getting wet, you're getting cold, you're boiling hot.
Getting moist.
Moist! Duncan Hines, the best cake ever. So Jen and I wanted to bring you in here today to talk about all of your passionate subjects that you deal with. Yeah. And of course, as we all know, that we base our podcasts on mental health and emotional well-being and taking care of each other. And so what is the biggest question today, Jen?
Well, just basically, you're such a strong advocate for so many people in this valley. And so just, what makes you, what's got you ticking? What started you clucking?
Yeah, what clucked your beak?
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, it wasn't like a altruistic thing or anything like that. It was like a Vail Resorts for giving me the band. And then it just kind of evolved from there, and it's still evolving, and it's crazy. Never in my wildest imagination would I ever thought it would have gotten anywhere near this amount of following and people getting behind it, other people getting active, and yeah. So.
Well, can you just speak to a couple of the different advocacy groups that you advocate for?
Speak Up Reach Out is the biggest one. It's a local nonprofit here in Eagle County for suicide awareness and prevention. Then 988 as well, just because 988 is huge. I don't know if any of you guys read the article, I think it was either today or yesterday, Vail Daily, about mental health and in jails and polices and stuff. No. Yeah. And I've been in the flat jacket there in Eagle County Jail. It is
Wait a minute, you've been thrown in jail in a chicken suit?
No, They have this one piece. If you say anything about you're suicidal, what they do there is they get all your clothes off and they put you in this real thick, hard plastic, Velcros all the way down on the sides.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So was that your situation?
Oh, I was in that, yeah.
So were you actually on the brink or something like that?
No,
or did you just speak something that people thought?
I was blacked out drunk because I don't drink. Had a bad day. One of my buddies back in Charlotte had gotten shot. And I had to go to work at Pazzo's over in Avon and I tried to call in and the other two people had already beat me to the punch and they'd called in. So I was stuck and decided to have 6 shots before I went into work. Had another 6 an hour and a half in, worked the whole shift with the full Pazzo's. Johnny didn't even know I was drunk, so I was blacked out for 4.5 hours. Someone gave me a bad tip. I chased them out to their car and yelled at them, broke their mirror off, and they beat the shit out of me. And then, yeah.
Wash your mouth.
Sorry, they beat me up.
They ruffled his feathers.
Yeah, they ruffled my feathers very well.
Eggs out of them.
And ended up at the hospital, and then I'm done with hospital. They took me to jail, and because I was suicidal, that's how they treat you. They just throw you in this little room. There's a little hole in the ground. You don't even get a toilet.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So makes you feel really.
Well, if you don't start off suicidal, you're going to end up
that way. You'll definitely be suicidal.
That's not great treatment, though. No, but I don't know why they do that, but they must have reasons. Because I really do have respect for, our officers and our first responders, and I really do. I have the utmost respect for all of them. So they've got to have a reason for doing that. And I'm guessing the get-up is to keep you from hurting yourself.
Sure.
Right?
I could have still hurt myself easily with it. It's not restraints. It's not like you're hogtied. My hands and arms are still free, yeah.
So how does 96, is that what you said?
988.
988,
Yeah.
and how does that
Different.
How does that work?
So 911, for example, in Eagle County, if you call 911, and even if it is just a mental health crisis, they will dispatch police officers.
Gotcha.
Which, depending on the situation, if someone has a gun near them, a police officer is trigger happy, Christopher Glass happens.
Right.
If you call 988, it connects you to trained counselors throughout the nation, and it's counselors that will talk to you, and they will
Gotcha.
not send police officers to your house.
I see.
Is
and
it more like a hotline for if you're feeling
It's basically
really
911
like
for
you have
suicidal.
nobody to talk to, and
Yeah.
you might feel like you have suicidal ideologies,
Yeah,
or
I mean,
tendencies, or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally like 911, but if you're suicidal or mental health
Wow.
properties.
That's a
So
very important number, everybody.
Yeah.
988.
988, yeah, it's man 24/7. You can also go to, what is it, like 988lifeline.org.
Okay.
On a computer on your phone if you wanted to do it that way as well. Like a year and a half ago or so, before I did my first sign on them, I actually, because I knew some people were going to say, oh, they'll still send the cops. So I called 988 and I told them I had a gun to my head, which I don't have a gun, I hate guns, but told them I had a gun to my head, talked to them for like 25 minutes, pretending to be suicidal.
Why would you do that, though?
Because I wanted to make sure no one came to the door with a gun. If I was going to tell people, you call 988, I need to make sure it's real.
Oh, God.
First, like because I was like, hey, can I talk to your supervisor? And like they were like, are you okay? And I was like, oh, I'm fine. I actually just need to talk to your supervisor. She like yelled at me at first, like wasting their time.
Because they take that very seriously.
They do. They definitely take their job very seriously. But once I explained to her why, she understood. Because I'm like, I'm not going to say that this is the case, and then all of a sudden someone calls 988 and gets shot.
Right.
You know, and
Absolutely,
then
you have to test it.
Yeah, you know, so I tested it first.
He has big chicken eggs.
Yeah, huevos. I think is what they're called.
Big huevos rancheros. I'm telling you.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I got to, you know.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, it's great because honestly, I mean, your following is huge out here because everybody likes to see what you're standing up for next.
Yeah.
And I love that you really, really work towards speak up, reach out,
Yeah.
because we've had so many just sad situations in this valley for so many. I mean, I've lived out here almost 16 years now, and I almost think one a year,
Oh, if not more.
if not more.
If not more.
Yeah,
And even like
I
people that
know
leave
many
here
of these young people.
and then still do.
Yeah, so we
I mean,
don't.
I've known 4 in the last 2 years that have left the valley
Mm-hmm.
and gotten back home. And I mean, because the problem is like with mental health, and like
doesn't matter where
my
you
shrink
go.
and I have this like theory about why the valley's so bad with mental health. Is a lot of people are depressed and have mental health problems where they're at, and they think if they move up to paradise, they can get better.
Yeah.
No, you're just in
But-
paradise with darkness.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And it's almost worse in a way because Eagle County is awful as far as our access to mental health.
They're getting
providers.
better.
They are. I understand that.
They
getting
are.
better.
They
They're
are getting
still
better.
Like
They're building.
48th out of 50.
I agree. I don't know
yeah.
why it's taking so long to build that thing.
Right,
here,
we have all
you know,
this
over
extra
in
money.
Edinburgh.
But I mean, if you get hurt on the mountain, you'll get a surgeon that day. Numerous surgeons that day will
Well,
fix you up.
sure. I know, and our brain and our mental health are just as important as any
If
other
not more
working
important.
portion of our
You know,
being.
because you can sit in a wheelchair and like use your mouth to like move you around, but if you don't have a brain, you can't do anything with your arms.
Okay.
In the nicest way possible. So with
I
that
do have a
said-
weird question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I know that your heart is in the right place.
Yes.
And all of that good stuff. What made you decide to dress up like a chicken to do this? I mean, you could have just been
Yeah,
you.
I could. Well,
But
I couldn't have been me because I mean, now I've gotten a lot better as far as being able to talk to strangers.
Okay, so this is more of a cover.
But yeah, I definitely couldn't have done it without the mask.
Right.
And originally the idea with the chicken suit was that it was Vail Resorts, snow is white, yellow, white, go against each other.
Don't eat yellow snow.
And then also to draw attention to the signs, not to me.
Okay.
Because like for example, like if when I did signs at the snow state camp, like even Dan Ramker when he was talking about because I was listening over to the police recording the other day about how it's the snow state bandit hit again, Tim McMahon, and it's like they already knew about that, but it was drawing attention away from the sign and on me.
Okay.
So if it's just me, because someone actually this morning when I was in the village said that they're like, take off your mask so we can see who you are, and it's like, but it's about the sign. It's not about me.
Right.
Right.
If you know me, that's cool.
You're like Kiss unmasked.
Like a superhero.
I don't ever want to be referred.
Yeah, like a local superhero.
Yeah, no.
Into a nearby chicken suit.
Yeah. No, just doing my job,
No, but it's not your job. That's the coolest part about this.
But it is everyone's job to help each other out.
What my point is that
Okay.
a job is where you get paid and you have to check chicken. You do this every single day, no matter what the weather is, no matter what the climate, anything, you are out there. And you're out there like ubiquitously. You're literally in 3 places at once sometimes. I can't keep up with the post. I'm like, wait, he was just over there.
Yeah.
Go chicken man. So my point is that what you do is from the heart, and it's something that not a lot of people have the wherewithal or the gumption to just get out there and do what you do. Stand on roundabouts and hold up signs, and for the most part, I would say 90% of people embrace you out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you fight for some really amazing causes. I've seen you post signs about affordable housing. I've seen you fighting for teacher salaries.
Yeah.
I've seen you fighting for, suicide prevention and just all, really for
Missing
the
children.
Yes, missing children, absolutely. And so, like, you really, in my mind, like, for those reasons, are a superhero of a local superhero.
Absolutely.
Because you are the voice of a lot of people are afraid to go out and do that. And and I think you rally behind the community behind you as well. And I think that's just absolutely extraordinary. So,
Yeah,
yes.
it really is. And you know what I find foul? Sorry, I had to do it. I knew I had to do it though. I do find this foul. Some people fight you.
Oh yeah. Well,
on the internet, like
on the internet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not in person.
In over a year and a half, December 2nd, 2022 is my first time, and I've had 3 people in person come up to me.
Oh yeah.
One person was back in like March 2023. He had a problem with the fact that my sign said second homeowners weren't part of our community. And he tried to argue that he was up from the Front Range every Thursday through Sunday during ski season, so he was part of the community. I was like, do you work up here? Do you pay taxes up here? You're not part of the community. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
And then the first time I did a Battle Mountain, I had an older couple in their like late 70s, early 80s that came up to me, and the lady tried to tell me that I needed to leave because I was going to upset the children. And I told them to, well, they don't have the internet probably. They're old. But no, that the children need to, they need to be upset. Like they need to. Like we can't keep on pushing this down. I mean, I'm Irish recovering Irish Catholic. I don't drink, don't go to church. But it was like the Catholic way was like always like, oh, if you ignore the problem, it just goes away.
Right.
Like if your car's making a noise, turn the radio up louder. But it doesn't always work that way because eventually that noise gets louder than your stereo.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Love that analogy. I think so many of us do that.
Yeah.
Yes. But I mean,
my stereo is really loud right now.
Because he's got all kinds of engine problems.
Oh no, it works. It's a hybrid. It leaks oil and gas.
I have a really dumb chicken joke that I'm going to break up the monotony. Why did the chicken
cross the road?
No, why did the chicken cross the amusement park?
Why?
To get to the other ride.
I could use that.
I had to do it. That's not even a dad joke. That's just a bad joke.
Yeah, that's not even.
That's just a bad dad joke. Yeah. But anyway, I think what you do is, number one, is whimsical because you bring a little joy while you're bringing attention to very important matters, whether it's of the head, the heart, the body, the system, the communications throughout our people here in the Vail Valley. No matter what it is, you start off with a little fun because you're feathered and you're yellow. And I think we should do a GoFundMe and get you a new suit, though, because that's being held together with like safety pins at this point.
This is actually the nice suit.
Oh, that's the nice one.
This is the nice suit. Yeah, the other one has like 14 holes here.
I don't want to know why.
Cherries. Cherries fall and they burn stuff really quickly. From
cigarettes?
No, I don't smoke cigarettes.
Okay, I don't understand, but that's okay.
The cherry off a joint falls and goes in my lap, and then it burns a hole in my lap. Everyone likes baked and fried chicken. It's cool. Anyways. Yeah. God, it's okay, Liz. I know.
But also, I think the costume, it brings like a non-violence and a non-confrontation to the messages that you're.
And the kids wouldn't be afraid; they'd be happy to see it.
Well, actually, no. The suit today, like I had 3 different kids today that said they were scared of my suit.
Well,
the other suit is like, I mean, it's been washed so many times.
Yeah,
it's
you don't
not
even
feathers,
have any fur
it's like
left.
nappy wook-looking chicken.
Yeah.
And like patches are missing.
Yeah.
And it smells really bad. Like even after you wash it, it just doesn't go away. Because you have to hand wash in the bathtub when you do it. Like you can't see your fingers because the water's so gross.
Oh my God.
Well, because I park in the Vail parking
lot.
lot.
How much is a chicken suit? I'm getting
like $100.
GoFundMe.
Well, they don't have this one anymore. That's the problem.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. So no, this one's fine.
No, that one's fuzzy looking. I like
no,
it.
this
That's
one's
cute.
still,
yeah.
except when you're eating and this stuff like flies in your. See, look, we got some going right there. Just chilling her out, So, but no, I mean the thing about mental health too, that's like so important for everyone is that if someone's suicidal, total stranger, and you go up and talk to them for a couple minutes, they're 60 times less likely to kill themselves.
Aww.
And no drugs, no doctor's offices, no medical degrees.
Just because they want to talk, they just
Yeah.
they might be stuck and they don't.
And just that
know
little
a way
bit
out.
of getting them back into reality is all they need, so that they
That's
don't.
special.
And that's all we need to do.
Yeah.
So if you see someone, you don't have to know them. You can just ask them how they're doing. And if they say, "Oh, I'm not doing well," "Oh, I don't have time for that." No, listen to them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Don't.
Yeah.
That's
No,
not a
I
bad
get
word.
that. No.
But
Don't be a chick.
dope.
Well, that can be.
That could actually be even worse nowadays. I think that might be even worse.
I'm so offended by
just
everything.
saying, everyone's offended by everything nowadays. So.
Well, on the Chatbox Veil, we are not offended because
Good.
we are equal opportunity people, and we don't believe that you should get offended by anything because we are only talking about honest, real things.
Yeah.
We are all real, and all we want to do is get to the heart of the matter of anything, and all we care about is the health of our community, mostly mental and emotional. I mean, I know a lot of young people that, for whatever reason, if they don't want to talk to their parents, they don't know where to go because they feel uncomfortable or they feel embarrassed and things like that. And I found myself kind of talking through things with them, and I feel like I'm giving back even a little bit, and I am not by any means a qualified person to help somebody.
But you don't have to be.
But
That's
if
a great
I
thing.
can
You
help
just talk to
somebody
them.
just by listening and letting them air out some kind of grievance or feel the way they feel, I mean, it really does. It makes a difference. And sometimes all we have to do is listen. All we have to do is be compassionate. Empathy is a big deal. And the divide that we have within our community and our country is a big reason why there are so many depressed people, and there are so many combative people, and there are so many angry people, and there's so many people that get offended and hurt and affected so easily. And I think that when you come out and you hold a sign, everybody goes, there's a little and there's a little awareness, and there's a big realization that we do have people in this community that we can speak with and that do care, and there's not a division between everybody. There's a lot of us that just want to be equal people and part of something that we can be individuals yet come together and have discussions and talk about things and make people feel better and make each other feel better. Because like I know that Jen and I are not just podcast partners, we're friends, we're very close. And whenever there's something going on, I don't feel that if I really feel lost, I can just call her. And it's great to know somebody that you have as a friend that's right there on a phone call away. And if you're not ready to call somebody that is a professional just yet, but most of the time we would probably refer somebody to a professional once we got somebody taken down a notch or like I've dealt with. It's really sad, but I had a friend here that I was on the phone with her the night before she ended up taking her life, and I did everything I could to talk to her, and I was there, I was compassionate, I was her friend. I did everything I thought I could, and I did tell her, to maybe call somebody, but she chose not to, and and so, I mean, my heart's been broken for 5 years now because of that. So I will take any opportunity to try help somebody come down from whatever they're going through. And I mean, it might work and it might not, but I'm going to do my best to do whatever I can to be there for somebody. I'll be your friend. I'll be like I said, I'll be somebody to talk to. I'm not a professional, but you're not a professional, and I know I've talked you off a ledge before. You've talked me off. I don't mean real ledges, but when we're sad or lost or hopeless or we feel bad, like we were in a play together, we both felt like we weren't doing the right. We only had each other to communicate with, but it helps. It helps your mental health. It helps your state of mind. It helps your self-confidence.
Oh, for sure. Well, and I fully agree too, like having close friends is awesome, but like sometimes too, like when you're really at that edge, like
That's right.
a stranger can change your world.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, and I think there's something about that anonymity.
It's that
of,
whole
like,
bartender
You
mentality.
don't know me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
absolutely.
they tell us a lot.
Yeah.
I was a bartender for years. I loved it. I loved helping people out.
Yeah, and so, and I think that, that's just to say that, it's okay to share with people you don't know. It's okay to reach out to somebody that might not be familiar,
Right.
As well, because sometimes just even that small, like you said to your
I
point, that
agree.
stranger interaction, can really be just that moment that's just
Yes.
like, okay, I'm fine.
Like your hairdresser, your bartender, those kind of people.
centers you
but-
again.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you are right about a total stranger, because like sometimes I use the bartender thing as a example, because you might feel like you're having the worst day, and let's say you walk into a place and the person behind the bar is somebody you don't know. Most bartenders, I know you are one too, and I know I was, are very good at reading people.
Yeah,
yeah.
we have to.
We're-
Be. That's how you
Well,
make
it's
money.
true. It really is true. But so like if you walked up to me and you didn't know me and I was behind the bar, I would immediately know that maybe you needed to talk. Sometimes anybody who's watching right now, if you see somebody that looks a little forlorn, walk up to them and say, yeah, all right, you doing okay? And they might tell you to go cluck off, but they might very well need someone to talk to right then and there, and you don't even know the good you've done that day.
Save their life.
You
and don't
could
even know
save
it.
a life.
And just by that, you
Yeah,
know. And that's the other
absolutely.
thing too, because at the school board meeting on Wednesday, they were talking about the cell phone issue, and on Saturday, one of the school board members came up to me when I was doing my second sign, and we talked for a little bit about cell phones and how there's so many studies out there that cell phones, especially in kids, so much more anxiety and stuff like that. And that's why starting next year, all the schools, including high schools in Eagle County, away for the class, so you don't have your cell phone during class.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't
Yes.
even know this yet. So this
Yes.
is big news.
Yeah.
So no cell phones in school.
No, so you can have your cell phone in school. You can't have it. So middle schools and elementary schools, it's away for the day. You
Okay.
can't have it. You can't.
You have to put it in your locker
Yeah,
or whatever?
yeah.
Okay.
High schoolers will be able to use it during break and in between classes
Okay.
and at lunch because it's.
But
too
I
hard to
mean, in
regulate.
class,
But
no.
in class, no.
It's amazing.
So yeah.
Well, that's how it was for us. We didn't have cell phones.
Well, we didn't have cell phones. We used to just write notes and pass them to each other.
But I mean, one of the examples they even brought up was everything with Jackson.
Yeah.
And there's some teachers at that school that are actually next year they're working with their I don't know what they call it. It's not social studies or civics classes anymore. But those classes are going to work together to try to get some legislation passed because currently it is not against the law to videotape violence like that and share it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Why would who's the person doing the videoing? Why wouldn't you try and help as opposed to record? That whenever I see anything
Yeah,
like that, or like some guy going, "Whoa, look at this guy! He's beating life out of that,"
Yeah.
and they're videoing it.
Well, they're also instigating it too if you listen to it.
Oh,
and watch it.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
But so that's
Yuck.
one of the things too, though, is that they're getting that. I think that's the biggest thing too, especially in the last like 20 years, 15 years, whenever smartphones officially came out. But is everyone's so attached to their phones, and there's not the human interaction anymore. Even you go to a coffee shop, and 20 years ago you go to a coffee shop, everyone's outside smoking cigarettes, talking.
Absolutely.
And now you go to a coffee shop, and everyone's outside vaping, and they're on their phones.
Which is so bad for you.
I don't know about that.
It is so bad for you. It's really bad for you.
I know when I would smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, I couldn't do as much as I can do now with vaping.
Great PSA, chicken man.
I'm not saying it's good. There's definitely. I'm not.
No, the
perfect.
truth is, it's bad. It's all bad. For you.
It's all
Either
bad for you, but
Yeah.
so is like.
But I mean, I just
California
know-
Proposition 65. Every single thing, including if you look at a 2x4, wood dust causes cancer in California. So I'm just saying, like, it's serious.
How much dust does a wood dust does?
If
If
a
a
wood
wood
dust
does
does.
good dust
Yeah,
does.
I mean, at that point, like everything's gonna kill you.
But to your point, like cell phone usage, like
Yeah.
it's removing and it's
removing the human
dissolving
interaction.
human interaction.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The
because-
only thing I question is this: do you think a lot of people would become depressed if they're those people that are so used to being that person with their phone that they communicate with? What happens to their mental state when you take that away?
Well, in school they should be teaching.
Well, I agree.
In school they
actually.
should be learning.
I agree. Anyway, I mean,
I'm not advocating taking anyone else's phones away.
No,
Like,
I mean,
I'm
as a
gonna get killed for
punishment.
that.
Right. No. What I'm saying is that kids in general, they use them, and it's their way of communicating. So they're going to have to figure out a way to get through it.
Like go, like walk to somebody's house instead
Yeah.
of calling.
Aw, I miss those days.
Yeah.
I know, that's what I mean.
Can
Like,
Johnny come out and play?
Yeah, exactly,
I
you
miss
know?
those
absolutely.
days.
And I don't think we're meant to have this window into absolutely everything
That's
that's
correct.
happening all the time. 24/7.
No, I think it's
And
good
I think
to
that
have-
is a huge piece of why
Yeah.
we feel disconnected from people, or we don't have this and we don't have that, and oh, they did this without me, and like
Yeah.
I want this vacation, and so I think you have all of this vision
Envy,
of what
too.
I'm not, right? Like
There's a lot of envy going on too,
course.
because like most of the time, people are posting stuff when it's real good. They're not
Right, they're never posting their bad stuff.
Yeah, and you know what I can't stand when somebody goes, prayers, please. For what? Don't ask for prayers unless you're going to tell me what's going on. I don't want to give you a prayer if you don't tell me what's up.
Well, that's what I mean. So it's just, I mean, there's some advantages and benefits to being that connected.
Yeah.
But I think for mental health purposes, I think there's a lot of negative things, especially for children, especially for kids that are growing up.
Yes.
Where they should be learning how to form their own bonds and
That's
connect
correct.
with people and
Right.
make eye contact.
Human
and-
interaction.
yeah, and not being exposed to absolutely everything that's
That's
happening
right.
in the entire world, like as visually and as viscerally as
Yeah.
they
They
are.
can, yeah.
Exactly.
And people would feel maybe a little bit more of an equality about them too, like the sense of equal, because nobody's better off than the other, or nobody's
Yeah.
showing off, and stuff like that. Let me ask you an important question now.
Yes.
Next. Has what you've been doing for the last few years since 2022 with the signs and standing up for people's rights and people's beliefs and all the other good stuff, has it helped you personally in any way?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, how has it helped you?
I mean, because growing up, like I was always made fun of. No, don't do aw. It just made me who I am. It's all good.
No,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Well, it happens. That's life. It's like the biggest lie our parents ever told us is like, oh, when you get older, life's gonna be awesome. And it's like,
That's a lie.
exactly. All through the 80s, I heard that, and it
Yeah.
was such BS.
My parents never told me that.
Oh, you were lucky. I thought it was
Once
supposed
you
to be
leave
good.
the house, you're on your own. I'm never leaving you.
But I mean, like at the same time, like I don't know. I mean,
How's it helped you, though? I'm curious.
definitely helped me as far as interactions with people.
Okay.
Because I used to be really, really shy. Even though I was a bartender my whole life, I was still really shy.
That's interesting.
I know. Because I got control over on that side, and I
All
can
right.
refuse service to anyone
So,
for any purpose that I
little
would like.
wood between you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There's that. They got to get across the bar.
Believe it or not, that is
That's
good.
a good 3 feet. You know.
That's nice. That's a nice thing.
But yeah, no, I mean, just being able to be more open and able to, I mean, really just get along with people a little bit better. But also kind of, I mean, I've always had empathy for people. It's gotten a lot worse. I mean, I say that in a good way.
But it's hard to be super. I am
Right.
incredibly empathic, so like,
Yes.
it's hard.
It's
because
very hard
You take
because
on so much.
You take on a lot, yes. But at the same time, like, I've been trying to be, especially the last couple months, a lot better. Like, for example, Tuesdays I don't work because I have town council meetings. This last Tuesday, I needed a break, so I took the dogs and I went four-wheeling, and there was no humans around, and it was amazing.
Nice.
And yeah,
Yeah.
so I've been trying to do a lot more like self-care about that.
Good.
Because the first season I did Chicken Man, I was doing 6-7 signs a week and working
Wow.
3 jobs. And
I mean, that's great, but you still have to look after
right.
yourself.
I need to take care of myself
Yeah.
because my shrink actually has a sign that every once in a while she'll put. So when I walk in, I see it. It's a little Chicken Man sign she made, and it says like this valley needs Chicken Man to be healthy or something like that.
Oh, God.
And so I always got to make sure to take care of myself too, because
That's so cute.
yeah. But I mean, she's an awesome person. So
Yeah.
and she does it for free. She reached out to me, like last
It
October.
tells me you need someone to talk to.
Oh, definitely. Oh yeah, I'm
Can
crazy.
you imagine a,
Oh, you're local.
a psychologist calling you and saying, you need a talk?
Well, it was right after I had it was last October. 3 of my friends had gone out and partied, got a ball. It was cut, and they all OD'd. 2 of them
Oh
were
my
brought
God.
back. The husband did not make it with
Oh, my
Narcon.
God.
So I was going through some rough stuff, and my buddy John Blank put a post out about, hey, everyone knows Chicken Man. There's a human underneath. He's having a rough time right now. And it was a ton of positive comments, and hey, thank you so much for what you're
So
doing.
people reached
But
out.
she reached out to me and was
That's
like, hey,
sweet.
if you're not seeing someone, I wouldn't mind finding my services. So I see her
It's
once a week. And
amazing.
she's awesome and definitely.
Do you
helps
want
me.
to say who she is?
You
You don't have to, but maybe
Well, I mean, yeah.
maybe
yeah,
she'd be good for somebody else that's looking for somebody to help out.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe reach out to Chicken Man in private. Yeah. But we've had counselors on here.
Yeah.
We've had psychiatrists on here.
Yeah.
And we love having them on because they give a great insight to things. And people who do watch can maybe find out how to reach out to somebody that they're not sure who to reach out to. So that's why we have so many different levels of mental health help come onto our podcast, because it's just, you never know what's going to help you. You never know what the right road is. I'm sorry you've lost friends, and I have too, and I know you have too, and we've all lost family members to stuff, to, I don't like to say drug abuse. It's just drug use sometimes, because they don't know what they're doing anymore, and they don't know what they're getting anymore. And if I could say one thing to everybody, life is so beautiful without being wasted.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. And because I come from the days where stuff was real, I know it's not real now, and leave it alone. It's true.
Back in my day, we had booze.
Back in my day, we could really but the
shits.
truth is that there's no better feeling in the world than waking up and being fresh, not feeling hungover or not feeling sick to your stomach or wired out or whatever it is, whatever you've done with yourself the day before or whatever. Yeah. I think that when you look to your mental health and you try and find a little help, it's also something that makes you stop doing all the things, all the self-medicating. If you find help mentally or emotionally through somebody, self-medicating doesn't matter anymore, because you're finding the ways to fix yourself without escapism.
Yeah.
And all the self-medication that everybody in this valley and in the country and the world does is because they're escaping. They're trying to forget, block.
When you're trying to escape, doesn't actually work.
No, of course not. Like you said, you can come to paradise, but you're just bringing your stuff with you.
Yeah.
And
Your
now you're
bags
just in
doesn't
a
go
pretty
away.
place with all the stuff again. And then you're surrounded by people that party, and so it doesn't really help.
No.
So keeping a clear mind and doing the work and a lot of self-love, and every once in a while plucking yourself, shaving your legs, doing things for yourself, your body, your special things that you do, taking care of yourself, are a great way to start the road to better health.
Another thing that affects mental health that we don't really talk about is, the housing crisis, and how it's hard for people who...
Right now, it's crazy.
Yeah, who have, not very high paying jobs to survive anywhere. And even if it's up here and they come here to try to find their way, that kind of thing, and then they find it hard to live and survive, then what do you do?
3 jobs.
So the fact that, I feel like what you do is so important, because you really are going to the source of the problem and going to these council meetings and, trying to change policy and trying to find affordable housing. Because I think these are really huge pieces of the puzzle that are missing for so many people, that are so hard to obtain, that really affect your mental health.
Because, absolutely.
It's hard to have your own space in your own apartment, in your own...
Well, that's why we have a lot more domestic violence too, because...
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Where do you go?
Oh my
because
gosh, I didn't
boyfriend and
know.
girlfriends move in together a lot quicker here in the valley than you do anywhere else.
Because they have to save money.
Because you have to save money.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
And I mean, so there is a lot more domestic violence in the valley.
That is horrible. I've talked to a couple of people that were trying to break free from something like that, and...
But where are they going to go?
Well, I mean... If you need to get out, I'll take you into my house. I'm not kidding. I don't want people to feel that they're trapped somewhere.
Yeah.
I just, that drives me crazy. That makes me upset and sad. And I know there's a very, very delicate situation with domestic violence where women sadly don't leave, not only because they can't, but because they literally become made to feel that that's the life they deserve.
Right.
Because of the person that's doing this. And so it takes long sometimes for women to get out. We spoke with somebody, it took 3 years for them to get out of an abusive relationship. Yeah. It hurts my heart and my head, because I would rather open a what do you call those houses where you can take people in and nobody knows where they go? You know what I'm talking about?
Safe house?
Yes! Sorry, I didn't mean to scream into my microphone. Yes, a safe house. I'd rather have a safe house in a studio and pile us all in than to have somebody going through that and not being able to feel like they can get out. And then Jen and I know an amazing couple. They've been here for many, many years, and they're part of our community, and they got noticed for where they live. And I mean, you know what it's like for a couple and a child to find a place to live out here right now? Because if you don't own,
Impossible.
you're renting, and when you're renting, you might as well be owning because
You're
of
paying more
how
renting
much
than you're
you're
owning.
paying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the
And
thing,
I
you're
mean, it
paying
doesn't
more.
make sense because if they want people to be here to live and thrive and work, they need to have housing that people can afford to live in.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
absolutely.
really is. So I can understand why a lot of, whether it's domestic violence or just depression in general or anxiety or self-medicating because you can't figure out where you're going to live next, and you love it here and you got to work 3 jobs to make ends meet, you know, and it's a very, very delicate subject matter here in our community, and I really wish something could be done. You keep watching all these buildings being put up, and they're like $4,000 a month rent for a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, and it's like, really?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, they should have some places where we can.
Well, I mean, what I would love to see happen is something like Vancouver did. Which
What'd they do?
So, I mean, everyone's going to call me a socialist because it's Canada, but they did a vacancy tax. So if you're not in your house 6 months plus 1 day a year, majority of the time, you get a special tax rate. And that tax doesn't go to the general fund. It goes to a housing fund for affordable housing. And then they purchase units back and rent them back.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. Because, I mean, some of these people in Bachelor Gulch, they have $15, $20 million houses. They spend $5,000 a month on utilities.
Right?
And they're not even there.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
And if they have $5,000 a month to make sure that their pool tub or their hot tub is hot and ready, if they get some strange back there that their wife don't know about, you know, they have $5,000 a month to make sure that we have affordable housing for the locals.
Right.
You know, and if they don't, then they can move somewhere else. I know there was Town of Eagle was trying to get something on with that. It didn't go through. It's been in talks in other places. Breckenridge had some issues with it, trying to do it there, because unfortunately, people that own second homes have lots of money and have lawyers. And they can fight it, which is silly.
I mean, everybody has the right to have whatever they have,
I understand.
and that's fine. But I do understand what you're saying as well. My husband calls them 10-10-2-2s, 10,000 square feet, $10 million, 2 people, 2 times a year. He calls them the 10-10-2-2s. And I mean, I know a lot of people that do that, and good for them, you know. But my point is that there's a lot of, you know, regular folk.
Yeah, well, we need the regular folk to make the valley run.
Well, and then who do you think's working at all the places here?
Right.
They're not,
Exactly.
Who's working
And
as behind the bars, behind the counters?
All the
know,
retail, all the
and
service.
All of it, you know? I mean, even the people that work here at TVA, they're hardworking people.
Yeah.
They have to live here.
Yeah, or
you
down
know?
Valley probably.
And well, either way, you know.
Because not many people
but
live
it's
up
not
that anymore.
even that much cheaper as you go.
No, there's studios in Gypsum going for $2,500.
Yeah, I know, that's pretty funny.
And it's like, I paid $27. Well, it will be up to $27 because just re-signed for another year. So I at least got another year doing
I'm thinking
Superman.
27's nice.
For 2-bedroom, 2-bath in Sunridge, I think 27's amazing.
Yeah, it's
you
a pretty
know?
good deal
It's
right
gone
now.
up $100 every year for the last 3 years. I'm okay with that.
That's not that bad.
That is not
Yeah.
bad. You know, I know the water bills are getting ridiculous. I don't have a water bill.
Okay.
So I'll pay
Yeah.
$100 extra a month
Right.
for not having a water bill.
And it's all relative to what you make and who you are and how you make a living. However, there are so many people that work so hard that live out here that
Right.
just want to pay a normal rent
Right.
so they can thrive, be happy, experience all the beauty and the nature and the sports events and the music that we have out here. So want to enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
And then the musicians that live out here also, I mean, you know, if you're a musician, you're only making what you're making.
Yeah.
And then you still have to live here and work. You got to work every night.
Yeah.
So, and that therein starts another trend of depression and anxiety and sadness and worry.
Well, even fights between families.
Yeah.
You know, everything is really thin, so you're not able to support, you know, your child or your husband or, you know, your wife as much as you would like to, right? And so that tears families apart. So
Yeah, it's really sad, isn't it?
it is, absolutely.
You know, there's a lot of different aspects of this community that you have stood up for. I'm also really happy to hear that it's helped you heal a little bit within
sure.
yourself, and it does a lot of good
I mean, when
for
I
you.
moved up to the Valley back in 2020, it was the second to last Friday in January, whatever that was, like 19th, 20th, something like that. I mean, part of the reason I moved up here was because I was down in the Front Range, and I was talking to my buddy Brian, who lived up here, and I was suicidal. And he was, I got you a job. I got you a place to stay.
that's a good
I mean, I slept
human.
on a couch. You know,
So
when I first
what,
moved out,
right?
so what? You know, and then I moved into the walk-in closet, you know, above Beaver Liquors, $400 a month. Can't be that.
Nothing like a
Valley, you
chicken
know?
coming out of the closet.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, that's what got me up here, was that I was
That's
suicidal,
wonderful.
So I've
I mean,
definitely
not
turned
that
around.
part.
No,
I mean-
but I mean, that's what it is,
Wow.
So,
But I mean, the fact that you had somebody there for you, I mean, that's huge. And I want to bring something else up because you and I are very big into the LGBTQ community. We've had them on our podcast. And something really upset me was you had to sign up for Pride. And there were some of the nastiest remarks.
But they're Christians, it's okay.
Ugh. Pow to the moon. No, but I mean, these are our community people, members, and they were, like, I know you say you used to be bullied. I mean, they're bullying on there, and
Yeah, so what?
I mean, I just can't even believe people hate people for being, it's not even different. I would say it's
They're being
normal.
who they are. Yeah, they're being who they are.
It's totally
and
normal.
especially at this time, they're normal.
Right. Whether you're non-binary, you have changed, you're trans, you are gay, bi, queer. I mean, there's so many adjectives now. I'm not really sure of them all. But it's a choice.
Yeah.
Who the hell are you, person, to go on and just damn them for that and just ridicule you for supporting it? I mean, I was getting mad. I was getting so mad, but you've taught me to keep my
Yeah, let them
just
have
not
it.
be like them.
No, it's all
and I'm
good.
doing very much. I'm doing so good in my old age. I'm growing up, but I get so upset that people have a problem with somebody because of their sexuality or their nature or their personality in general. It's harmful.
Yeah, but
and
that's
it's
them, though.
worse. But what I like to see is, like, you'll say something and somebody would go in and throw in a really nice thing, and then Mountain Pride would come in and say something so sweet and so nice.
Yeah.
And why would you
They're
be
so wonderful.
Yeah,
I know.
They are awesome. They are awesome.
They're like killing with kindness. It's like a giant, but right with the kindest words and such a way to do it that just shows class. It shows so much more class than this person that's downing them for that. You know what I mean? So I don't understand why people have such a hard time. I mean, with anything,
Yeah.
and it's not being different anymore. It's just being yourself, like you said. I would say being different now is just being a heteroerotic, not erotic. What's the word? There's a word for it. I learned from B. I can't
I have
remember
no
what it
idea
was
where you're going
called.
with this. So I'm going to try to mess that one
Heteronormal.
up.
Heteronormative. Heteronormative. That's almost, like unusual now. But what I'm saying is that everybody should accept everybody, and we already have enough emotional issues within ourselves. And how many things do you think people who have fought with their identity go through?
Oh, a lot.
In
I mean, my
school?
daughter's now my son. So I've been
yeah?
talking to my child about
Oh,
that.
that's
and
interesting,
it's-
really?
Yeah. So
That's
it's
so
a
wonderful.
lot they go through, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've experienced
Oh, firsthand, yeah.
firsthand
Yeah.
what was it like? So your daughter's now your son.
Correct.
Okay. So what did he go through in school?
He left school because of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So
At
just
what age?
because.
Because they
12.
were
12.
were they
He was
getting
ridiculing,
just
yeah.
really? So
Yeah.
people can't handle it.
No.
Is it fear?
Well, I mean, he's also in North Carolina.
Okay.
It's a little different down there
It's
still.
definitely-
I know, but it
You know,
shouldn't be. I mean,
they
come on.
still won the war in their opinion and stuff. So yeah, caught it.
Yeah, you didn't catch
good.
it.
Kind of.
You kind of got it. Shmee.
But yeah, no. So, but I mean,
but-
he's homeschooled now, and like my ex-wife is marrying her girlfriend, so it's a very open.
Wow, so you have a full-on
Oh, yeah,
experience
full-on
with the
experience,
entire
yeah,
gamut
yeah.
of this.
Actually,
How
when I
were
went
you
back-
as a dad when your daughter said to you, I don't feel comfortable as a girl, I want to?
Well, actually, it was my ex-wife came to me first about
Okay.
it because he
Was
was not
comfortable?
Yeah.
Were they afraid to tell you?
Didn't know how to put into words and didn't want to like well, as my ex put it, he didn't want to upset me.
But
It's like,
you
why
weren't.
would I- No, not at all.
And you were
Like totally fine with it.
do you know how many
Like, whatever.
fathers or parents, there's sets of parents, usually it's the mom that's okay.
Yeah.
But we love you. And it's the dad that usually has a problem with it, which
Yeah.
is just ridiculous. It's so wonderful to hear
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that you didn't have an
so,
issue
like,
with
it doesn't
it.
affect me. Like that's
Why
why
would it?
That's why I get so upset, like with some of the stuff with the Mountain Pride
Yeah.
stuff. Like people get so upset at stuff that has nothing to do with them.
Right, and why does
it
it hurt
doesn't
you?
bother them.
Yeah.
Like
I think it's fear.
If
I
I
think that
wanted
they
to
don't
hold a
know
man's
anything.
hand and walk around town, is it going to do anything to you? No.
No.
Nothing at all.
No.
You know? And people get so upset about it, and it's like, personally, I think it's more of like they have insecurity with themselves maybe about
Could be.
something, and that's why they get so upset
And
because
I think it's
hitting
fear
close
too.
to home. And they
fear
don't know.
of what they don't know.
And exactly what they don't know.
But I mean, just ask questions. I mean, we have plenty of friends that are all kinds of different
Yeah.
adjectives. I don't know
Yeah.
how else to say. I will come right out and ask questions. I mean, I'll
Yeah.
ask anything I want to know.
Yeah. Why
All
not,
I do
though?
is ask because I just want to be educated
And informed.
and informed.
Because that way you can
And
know
I
what's
mean,
going on.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm the least judgmental. I love people that, when I was in school, people who were kind of like a little different. I was always
Gravitate towards
I
them,
would
yeah.
gravitate towards people that were a little bit more outcasty or not, because I wanted to know why they were and I wanted to know about them, and it's just been my curious nature my whole life, and you know, I think that it's been able to make me embrace everybody. I like to embrace everybody. I don't feel like anybody is different. I don't care if you have billions of dollars. I don't care if you have dollars. Everybody is special in their own way, and everybody has something to offer this world.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Well, and I think that's also why it's so important to have affordable housing, because we need to have a diverse
Right.
population in our communities.
Otherwise, it would all be one way.
Well, because a lot of people too, like today's sign about, you know, people living in their cars and on couches.
I saw that, yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, if they can't afford it, then move.
Yeah, I hate
Well, what
that.
they don't realize is that majority of the people in this valley are the worker bees that make this valley run. And
That's right.
majority of us in any other big city would be like, oh, get a real job. But here we are the real jobs.
Yep.
Right.
So you can't have it like the best of both ways, like,
Yeah.
oh, go somewhere else if you can't afford to live here, but we need you to live here so
Right.
that we can have our places.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's like a double-edged sword, but at the same time, you know, part of the problem is that there's all these people that have bought second properties that are renting them out that don't realize that that's an investment property. It shouldn't be 100% guaranteed return or more every month.
Right.
You know, like in 30 years or in 15 years, depending on your mortgage, you're going to own that property outright. You need to put some into that.
Exactly.
You know, you shouldn't have people working 2 and 3 jobs so that in 30 years you have your own property that you didn't pay anything for.
Exactly.
That's BS.
Exactly.
You know, and that's part of what's contributing to it. So what I think should happen, and I mean, I know the commissioners will hate it, but the county needs to get involved and build affordable housing that the county maintains. Because the Piedmont apartments, they were supposed to be affordable housing.
They were. What happened to that?
They were sold as affordable housing, and they were affordable for 1 year. And
That's
then the
it?
next year they went up like $1,200 a room.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And
it's
that's
crazy.
ridiculous,
It's
you know?
and they're so small.
And
I
it's-
don't want to pick on
no,
anybody,
but it is, yeah.
They're very small.
Yeah.
And they're high.
Yeah.
High rent. And I mean,
And they don't even have acreage.
and what I notice in Avon is there's so much land, and they're starting to pick it up, and they're starting to build on it. But I don't have faith that
people
it's
that
going
can't
to
even
be
come in the country though own that land. So
right. But when I'm saying like, they're building these things right. You can have a view of I-6 and spend $4 million on one place.
Yeah.
Or you can rent for an astronomical amount of money, or have a bunch of people living in one place.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay
which
when
is
you're.
against the law actually.
No, I just mean like, you know, like 3 or 4 people.
Oh.
But it's okay when you're young, but when you're a little older or you're a family, you don't want to bring in roommates and things
No.
like that. You want to have a life. You want to be normal.
Right.
You want to exist and coexist with everybody else here in the valley. And, you know, it's hard to see happening, and hopefully something can come about where we can all live together and be equal, at least equal community members.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's going to always be, you know, there's always going to be different views on people, no matter what we do and how hard we push for people to be kind. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I
I
mean,
think
this-
that's it for me. It's, you know, it's more about being kind
Yeah.
and just accepting our community members and creating, building instead of tearing down.
Thank you.
You know, like that I think is what's lacking. Like
Yeah.
everybody's so like on fire and wants to share their opinion and give, you know, be right about everything.
all brave behind a keyboard.
Well, and then they also throw in like politics, like, oh, you're such a liberal or something. And it's like, it's not about politics, it's about humans.
Oh, I
It's about
hate
humans.
Like that's
exactly.
the thing that
It's
pisses
human
me off the
nature,
most
it's
is that
humanity.
people keep on getting like politics
That's
involved.
because
and-
they don't know what they're talking
No,
about.
they don't at all. And it's like, no, like I'm not trying to change the world. I'm not trying to change even the Colorado state. I'm
Right.
trying to work on our valley
Yeah.
because that's easy to work on, and we can do that. But you know, as far as you know, it's not about politics.
No, it's
you
not.
know?
And people who say that are ignorant.
Yeah.
Because I think not everything is about politics. It could be like a political feel of some, but I mean, honestly, this is about humanity.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't go into politics. I will not talk about politics. We only have a few minutes left anyway.
Good.
But my point is that being real, being kind, being compassionate, being empathetic. There's a new word for everybody for the weekend. Empathetic. Spell it. Just being nurturing and caring and open-minded. And so, if everybody could be like Tim, the chicken man, I mean, I didn't even know that about your son.
Yeah.
Because it's not something that you feel that you have to go
Well,
crying
because if
out.
I throw it out there, then people start bashing me on that too.
Well, then I would stomp
But
him
at
with
the
that.
same time, like,
With that, where's your foot? Big chicken foot
it's
right
up
there.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But it's okay.
seriously, no, it's just wrong. It's not right. We need to take care of each other because mental health matters.
Yeah.
And mental health falls apart when people don't take care of each other. When we don't look after each other, there's a domino effect, and minds and hearts get just messed up, and it's just not right. We already have enough to worry about in life and in general and in our country and everything else. We have so much stuff to be anxious about. Why don't we take care of each other here in our community and be good to each other and love each other?
Yeah.
And wonderful stuff can happen from that. We can all get together, and I love that Nottingham Park has music. We all get together, and everybody feels like there's a camaraderie there.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like everybody feels like one unit. So we have anything else for Chicken Man? You're going to ask our final question for the day, Jen.
No, I think it's just gratitude for you and for what you do for our community, and I hope you keep fighting. Like I don't know, like if there's in
It's
your
a
mind
cockfight.
Sorry.
But yeah, I think just like keep on going and like if I guess my question would be like, is there a point where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna not do this anymore, or you're just
Well, a lot of people always keep on bringing up like, oh, you need to get into politics, and it's like, no, I don't.
No.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and maybe it's like thinking highly of myself, but I feel like I can do a lot more as Chicken Man than I can as a politician.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Because as soon as you get elected as a politician, the other party hates you, so you lose half those people right there.
That's true.
And then people start like labeling you.
And everybody fights over it, and
also,
it's not something that they should be
session,
doing.
You learn something in executive session. I can't talk about that in a sign.
Right.
No,
but we
I hear
don't want
something-
Chicken Man
right.
for mayor. We
So,
want
no,
Chicken Man for
just
Chicken Man.
Yeah. Plus, as I point out to the school board members, they were all elected officials, and they get voted in by the people. And unfortunately for them, I'm not.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like someone said today about like, make sure to take care of yourself. Just leave. Are you going to keep on trying to fight until you die? And I'm like, yeah, like, why
Good
not?
for you.
I mean, we need this place.
Yes.
Fly
And the
high,
people in this
Chicken
place
Man.
are amazing. I mean, that's
I love
one of the other
that.
things. I mean, yes, it wasn't FU to Vail Resorts, but the reason I did the first signs before Chicken Man when it was at the Snow State camera was because I realized how amazing the people in this valley are.
Right.
Because we all struggled to make it. And
Yes.
because of that, we're all stronger because of that. And we all already kind of take care of each other. We just need to do it more. But I mean, that's the thing. The people in this valley are some of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life.
And I love that about the fact that you see that and you believe that and that you have this big heart and you're always going to be out there with a sign. If anybody ever sees Chicken Man on a roundabout or in front of the council meeting, if it's hot out, give them a water or something, But we can't thank you enough for being here today. You're a very special part of our community. Everybody really appreciates you. And if anybody ever has a bone to pick... Sorry, I can't come up with any more chicken references. If anybody ever has a bone to pick with you, you just send them to me and Jen, and we'll send them straight. But we are the Chatbox Live, everybody. Thank you to Danielle and everybody at TVA for letting us have this beautiful setting. And you guys, keep your mental health in check. There's always somewhere to go. There's always someone to talk to. 988 if you need to talk to somebody right away. And look out for Chicken Man. Jen, I love you so much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We are I almost said the Chicken Man Live. We are the Chatbox Live with our very special guest, Chicken Man. Have a great weekend. Lots of love, and we'll see you soon.